We just got a joint ops banner featuring Carnelian, Magallan, Bagpipe and Passenger as our 6 stars, and Mr. Nothing, Shamare, Toddifons, Mulberry, Pluma and Skyfire as our 5 stars. Before we get to the video itself, make sure to support my channel by liking, commenting and subscribing. It really means a lot to me. I would also like to point out that I'm only talking about these operators' gameplay. You should pull for operators you want and like instead of listening to me. I am not your dad. Waifus and husbandos over meta any day. The joint ops banners are a bit special and you can only get the featured 6 and 5 stars. However, this is most likely a skip banner, as the current standard banner provides more value to most players and we are about to get very strong banners in the near future. 3 out of the 4 6 stars are very niche and hard to use operators, leaving Bagpipe as the most notable operator. While Bagpipe is extremely important for a high-end meta, it is still hard to justify pulling this banner. Let's move on to the operators. Starting with Carnelian, a modal caster who does not attack outside of her skills, but deals AoE arts damage during her skills. She also has massively increased defense and res while not using skills. Her talents improve her SP recovery and restore her HP when using a skill. Charged effect, meaning that she can keep recovering SP after reaching the maximum, and when her SP reaches double the maximum, she enters charged state. Moving on to her skills. Carnelian's first skill gives her an attack and defense boost. If charged, it also allows her trait to stay active during the skill. The first skill makes Carnelian insanely tanky and is a valuable skill whenever a ranged tank is needed. Her second skill makes her attack faster and her attacks inflict a slow. If charged, the skill will provide an attack boost and instead of slowing enemies, it will inflict a bind. Thanks to the faster attacks and the decent duration bind, the skill gives a very good bind uptime. It is nice to have whenever CC is needed. And then we have her third skill that expands Carnelian's attack range and gives a massive gradually increasing attack buff. If charged, the targeted enemies will take more damage from Carnelian for each attack she does. The skill has a very long range and it provides respectable AoE damage. It can be used for clearing large groups of enemies. All of Carnelian's skills are good and can be used for different situations. Let's have a quick summary. Carnelian does not attack outside of her skill duration, but has plus 200% defense and plus 20 res. She is best used as a ranged tank. She is very versatile and all of her skills are good for different situations. However, she is held back by her subpar archetype. She is very hard to use effectively and requires good planning and timing. Overall, Carnelian is a luxury operator. There aren't many situations where she truly shines over other casters. She is extremely good at being a ranged tank, but is hard to use and requires lots of planning and timing. She can be used to counter enemies like Carnelian and Faust and some others. Moving on to Magallan, a summoner supporter who deals arts damage and can summon drones. She can use up to 5 drones with maximum of 3 being deployed at once. The drones also gain invisible status for up to 22 seconds after being summoned. Her module extends the invisibility time and allows Magallan herself to gain invisible status if a drone is deployed next to her. Her feature module will allow her to deploy up to 4 drones at once and gives a small stat buffs to drones depending on your skill choice. For most players, I wouldn't bother with Magallan's modules, but true Magallan enjoyers will probably want it. True Magallan enjoyers are playing a completely different game and will find the weirdest ways to utilize her. If you're a true Magallan enjoyer and have a maxed out Magallan, much respect to you. Moving on to her skills. Magallan's first skill passively slows enemies within her or her drone's range, and when activated, instead of slowing, will bind all targets for up to 2.5 seconds every 3 seconds. This will be her go-to skill most of the time, as it is one of the best stalling tools in the whole game, providing extremely good AoE CC. Her second skill passively allows her drones to be deployed on melee tiles, dealing single target arts damage, and when activated, Magallan and her drones gain a massive attack speed boost, and the drones' attacks turn into AoE attacks. The skill provides decent amount of AoE and single target arts damage. However, most of the time you won't be bringing Magallan to deal damage, and using the second skill won't be worth it, outside of very specific situations. And then we have her third skill, that passively allows Magallan to deploy her drones on ranged tiles. dealing AoE physical damage, and when activated, Magallan and her drones gain a large attack boost and the AoE of her drones' attacks increases. The third skill has pretty much all the same upsides and downside as the second skill. Let's have a quick summary. Magallan is a summoner. Her drone's abilities and stats change based on which skill you are using. Her first skill is one of the best stalling tools in the whole game, and second and third skill can deal decent DPS but aren't used very often. She is very hard to use, beginner unfriendly, and requires lots of planning and timing. Overall, Magallan is a luxury operator. She provides extremely good stalling and deals decent DPS with lots of investment. She is very hard to use and not recommended for beginners. Most players either love or hate the summoner playstyle. She can be very rewarding and versatile if you are willing to plan stages around using her. Moving on to Bagpipe, a DP on kill vanguard who generates DP when defeating enemies and fully restores her DP cost when retreated. Her talents allow her to have a chance to gain an attack boost and strike an additional enemy with her next attack, and provides extra starting SP for all vanguards. Her module will further boost her DP gained on kill to 2 instead of 1. And her upgraded module gives Bagpipe even more starting SP. The module is absolutely top tier and you should definitely get it. Let's move on to her skills. Bagpipe's first skill is a simple attack and attack speed boost, and while the skill itself looks just fine, realistically you won't be using it because of how good the other two skills are. Her second skill is a low SP cost auto-triggering boost to her next attack, also making it strike an additional time. It can have up to 3 charges, and combined with her talent it provides extremely high burst damage. The second skill is her go-to skill in situations where you are keeping Bagpipe deployed. It is very versatile and easy to use. And then, finally, we have her third skill. That makes Bagpipe attack bit slower, lets her block an additional enemy, gives a large attack and defense buff, and makes her attack 3 times in a row. The third skill is very valuable, it provides lots of damage and very valuable extra block. However, it has fairly high SP cost and short duration. But thanks to its high initial SP and Bagpipe's SP talent, it's a great heli drop skill. And it is the go-to skill if you are using Bagpipe as a heli drop. Let's have a quick summary. Bagpipe is a meta-defining DP on kill vanguard. She provides extra SP for all vanguards in your team. She is used together with flag vanguards for extremely fast DP generation. She also provides excellent burst damage and can be used as a heli drop. However, she needs masteries, module and strong flag vanguards to fully utilize her skills and talents. She also gains a lot from reaching potential 5, further improving her SP talent. Overall, Bagpipe is a must-have meta-defining operator. Her SP talent cannot be replaced in high-end meta. She is extremely versatile and provides lots of burst damage and can be used even outside of DP generation meta. And then finally, we have Passenger, a chain caster whose attacks bounce between enemies and inflict a slow. His talents allow him to deal increased damage when attacking enemies close to max HP and increased damage when there are no enemies nearby. And his module increases his SP recovery rate when there are no nearby enemies, and the other module removes the damage fall off from his attacks that jump and further improve his first talent, making Passenger deal up to 33% extra damage. Moving on to his skills. Passenger's first skill is a low SP cost auto-triggering attack boost to his next attack, also increasing the slow duration. As usual, skills like these are nice to have for AFKing longer stages, but overall provide less value than the other two skills. His second skill increases his range, gives him a small attack buff, makes him attack faster, and increases the maximum amount of jumps his attacks can do. It has pretty good uptime, consistent DPS boost, and very valuable extra range. It is definitely his easier to use skill and great for clearing groups of enemies. Then we have his third skill, that generates a lightning storm centered on the highest HP enemy within range. The lightning storm lasts for 4 seconds and deals an additional attack to a random enemy within the storm's radius every 0.5 seconds. It can hold 2 charges and provides good burst AoE damage. It can be a bit tricky to use because of the short duration and the weird targeting. It is his go-to skill for most situations. Let's have a quick summary. Passenger's attacks jump between enemies, dealing slightly less damage per jump. His attacks also inflict a slow. He is versatile and one of the highest DPS casters. His second skill provides a sustained DPS, while third skill provides more burst. He struggles a bit with SP and really needs his module to truly shine. Fully utilizing his talents and skills can be a bit tricky. He requires very good positioning and he is held back by his niche archetype. Overall, Passenger is a luxury operator. He has extremely good sustained or burst damage depending on your skill choice, but is hindered by his subpar archetype. He requires good positioning, E2 and his module to truly shine. And then finally, let's take a quick look at the vast amount of 5 stars the banner has. Mulberry and Pluma are the most notable ones out of the banner. Mulberry being a solid wandering medic and Pluma being overall solid lane holder guard. However, most of the banner's 5 stars are very niche and I can't really recommend 10 pulling, especially with our current standard banner being very good and how many good banners we are about to get in the near future. As always, thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, comment and subscribe for more Arknights content. See you in the next video.